A few weeks ago here on the channel, I posted a video featuring this Ruger Super Blackhawk single action revolver. Today, we're going to feature its brother, the Ruger Super Redhawk double action revolver. So I'm going to get this thing over to the table, give a quick rundown on it for those that aren't familiar with it, and then we're going to do a lot of shooting today. So hang tight. Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. Welcome back to the range. So here's a look at the Ruger Super Redhawk. This one is chambered for 6 rounds of 44 Magnum. Of course, you can also shoot 44 Special in it. And of course, the Super Redhawk is available in other calibers like 454 Casull, 480 Ruger, and 10mm. Those come to mind. It is a double action revolver, meaning I can pull the trigger and it'll do all the work. It'll rotate the cylinder, cock the hammer, and drop the hammer. It does have an exposed hammer, so if I want, I can cock the hammer and shoot it in single action mode and take advantage of that light, crisp trigger. These are stainless steel revolvers. Ruger uses the investment cast method on these frames, and you can see it has the extended frame here that gives the Super Redhawk its distinctive look. The barrels are cold hammer forged though, and this one has 1 in 20 twist 6 groove rifling. You can see the top strap here on the frame is machined for scope rings, and it does come with scope rings in the box. This is an older revolver. This one was manufactured in 1996, and I don't have the box or the scope rings with me, so I can't show you those. But if you bought a new one, it would come with the scope rings that go on this revolver. The sights themselves we'll take a look at. This one being the older style that has that front sight. It's got a ramp front sight that's easily changed. I love this style of front sight. There's a plunger in that hole. Just take a small punch, depress that plunger. You can pull this sight out and change it for a shorter or taller front sight, or go with a fiber optic or whatever you want. It's just super easy to change. Sometime around 2013, they went away with that and started using the screw-on front sight that has the 3 screws. So there's been some minor changes to the Super Redhawk over the years, but it's still basically the same revolver. They've changed some small things. I don't think they write the owner's manual on the side of the barrel anymore like they did on this one. I'm glad they done away with that. Not the most aesthetically pleasing thing to look at there, but I don't think they put that on there anymore. The rear sight, fully adjustable for windage and elevation. That typical Ruger rear sight has the white outline on the notch. And these sights will get the job done. I know I mentioned these sights were kind of flimsy on the Super Blackhawk video. I didn't mean it to be that they were terrible sights. They're just kind of fragile. Kind of thin, the blade's kind of thin. They're just not super durable sights. It would be easy to bump it, especially on a revolver this heavy, and damage that rear sight. But as far as shooting the gun, they're plenty good enough to get the job done. Speaking of heavy, Ruger advertises this revolver at 53 ounces. On my scale, it comes to 52.9 ounces, so pretty much right on the money. And if I add 6 rounds of my 240 grain XTP reloads, it brings it up to 58 ounces loaded. And this one with the 7.5 inch barrel comes to about 13 inches in overall length. And you can see this one is sporting the old school rubber grip with the hardwood panels. Ruger has switched over to the hold tamer grip on these now, at least for the most part, although I do think they still put these on the 10mm auto chambered Super Redhawk. The trigger on this is not that bad. The double action pull is smooth all the way through and very predictable. It feels the same every time I pull it. And according to my Lyman trigger pull scale, it comes to 11 pounds 9 ounces on the double action. That surprised me a little bit. Most double action pulls are too much for this little scale. This scale goes up to 12 pounds even. Anything over that and it won't give me a reading. So I was a little bit surprised that it was under 12 pounds, but like I said, it's not a bad double action trigger. The single action pull on this come to about 4 pounds 14 ounces. Now it is a very crisp single action pull, but I do wish it was just a little bit lighter than that. 4 pounds, 14 ounces is not very light for a hunting revolver like this. But all in all, it's a very good trigger. I'm not complaining. People sometimes take my critiques as complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I don't have any real issues with this trigger. I'm just reporting to you guys what it is. And I should also mention that this revolver does have a transfer bar safety, so you can load all 6 chambers and rest the hammer over a live round. It can't make contact with the firing pin unless the trigger is actually pulled. So this isn't my revolver. This belongs to a friend of mine, Casey. Casey, I appreciate you sending this over. Let me do a video with it and sharing it with my viewers. I'm going to load it up and just do a sight check here at about 30 yards on the steel targets and see if I can hit anything with the way the sights are set. These Rugers have a reputation for toughness, just being really tough, robust revolvers. I will point out that they lock up in the front. The cylinder I'm talking about locks up in the front on the crane there. There's a little lock, of course, as well as the bottom and the rear. So you've got a 3-point lock up with that cylinder. Probably just one of the things that adds to the reputation of toughness. Got some Winchester white box here. Nothing real fancy. Just some run-of-the-mill 44 Magnum loads, 240 grain. Jacketed soft points. And I'm going to shoot this in double action and just see where I need to hold. This is the first time I've shot this revolver in many years. Casey sent it over, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago when I shot it a little bit, but it's been a long time. Oh yeah. Pretty well right on. Ejects the brass good. Let's move back a little bit, see how it shoots at 50 yards or so. All right, so I backed the camera out here at 50 yards. I'm going to be shooting that target right there. That's a full-size target. Shouldn't be too hard to make hits at 50 yards. See how it's printing. I will be picking that brass up. Don't think I'm leaving that behind. Not a real good looking group, but hey, it is what it is. I'll take you down there and show it to you. So I put 4 shots right here together, and I let 2 of them get away from me there. That's just me. That's just my shooting. Okay, so I'm back here at 100 yards. You can see the target right there. I'm going to give this a shot back here at 100 yards. Now, if I were shooting at an animal, at a living creature out hunting, I would thumb cock this revolver, shoot it in single action, take advantage of that lighter trigger pull, take advantage of my surroundings, take a rest up against a tree or a rock or whatever's around me, and get an extra point of contact to the ground to help stabilize my shot and take the cleanest shot possible. But there's no ethical or moral concerns shooting a piece of steel here on the range, and I enjoy shooting in double action mode, so I'm just going to continue to shoot double action here. and all that excitement, I couldn't remember if I had shot 5 or 6 rounds. All right, so I did spread them out a little bit there at 100, but that's to be expected. I was shooting at 100 yards. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 6 shots on the steel, which I could hear them hit, but there they all 6 are. And the point of impact seems to have shifted a little bit lower, not too much. I used the exact same hold at 100 as I did at 50, so not much change there as far as point of impact. It did seem to have dropped a little bit, but there it is. I'm happy with that. Really digging this Ruger Super Redhawk. I've got some of these CCI shot shells that I've had for years and years. Might shoot a few of these up. Here's what they look like. They've got a 1/3 ounce of number 9 shot inside those capsules. I'm going to hand toss a few of these clay pigeons. I can't toss them very far because the range of this snake shot is just not very far. But I thought it'd still be fun to try. All right, I've got it loaded back up with snake shot again. I wanted to try a couple of doubles. Probably getting too big for my britches here. Let's give it a try. Well, those didn't separate. Try it again. See if I can make them separate. There we go. One more time. I did miss one of those, and that leaves me with 1 round in the chamber. All right, enough of that. I switched back over to the Winchester White Box 240 grain jacketed soft points, and I figure I might as well demonstrate the single action on this revolver. And I've got 6 sody pops over there that volunteered for the job. Oh, that always happens. I lost one right there. 2 of them. Woohoo! I love the smell of high fructose corn syrup at the range. Let's kick these guys on down the range. All right, so the sun is starting to drop over the hill. I've got to close this video out. I'll tell you guys what, I could shoot this revolver from daylight till dark if I had the money to spend on the ammunition or the reloading components. It is just that nice to shoot this thing. This one has a 7.5-inch barrel. Of course, other barrel lengths are available, but this gives you plenty of sight radius to make those longer shots easier. And the balance point is just in front of the trigger guard, so it's not as muzzle heavy as I thought it would be with that longer barrel. And the weight of this thing really tames the recoil of the 44 Magnum. You know, the 44 Magnum is just an awesome cartridge. It's my favorite of the big bore cartridges, particularly in a revolver. It's in that sweet spot where you get the full big bore experience without it beating you up too bad, you know. And you can shoot it well without having to worry about hanging on to the gun and all that. It's just, if you're hunting it, if you can't kill it with a 44 Magnum, maybe you shouldn't be hunting it with a handgun. Kind of the way I feel about it, but just these revolvers have been made for over 35 years, and I hope they're made for many more years. They're just great shooting revolvers. There's not a whole lot more I can say about it. But you guys always remember, if somebody asks you to give up a little of your freedom for the greater good, that freedom is the greater good. And I'll talk with y'all again soon.